great story. You know, I've never heard that story, and that's a wonderful perspective on, you know, foreign relations and what's going on behind the scenes that a lot of times people just would never know otherwise.
Yes.
Who are some of the other interesting people you met when you were cowboying that you think would be particularly interesting to a Hauenstein Center audience?
Yeah. We, Buck, my little horse, and I had performed for hundreds of thousands of people all over the world for about a 6.5 year period. But some of them stick out. One of them in particular was the Queen of Thailand. And she came to the ranch. We did some more programming for her. And it was kind of neat because she also brought in her entourage, her farm manager. And her farm, in his words, was about 40 acres. And he asked me in perfect English how big our farm was. And at that time, the George Ranch was about 36,000 acres. So I told him 36,000 acres. And he looked at me and smiled and he said, "Yes, this is Texas." And it was our bona fide that he was really on a real Texas working ranch. He also reared back, pulled his cigarette out of his mouth, and he cocked his head back, his cowboy hat that we had given him, back on his head, and began to sing every word of Gene Autry's song, "I Got Spurs That Jingle, Jangle, Jingle." And he knew every word of it, and I sang it with him. So that was very memorable. We had Emerald, the chef, and we taught him how to ride and put him on horseback. We had Tony Perkins from Good Morning America come out and sit on one of our other horses, Rio, and she stood there for about 2.5 hours between all the cameras and all the wires and all the satellite dishes with floodlights in her face, and she just absolutely looked stunning. And so there have been many others that you wouldn't know the names of, but I can tell you this: we met some of the finest people in the world from different places, different countries, and again, it solidifies that old cliche that the German man put out, that there is no corner of the world and maybe the universe that nobody knows the great American cowboy.
Well, Jim, we've asked you a lot of questions and you've given some very thoughtful answers. Is there something that you would like to add about, you know, your observations about leadership, about our country, about cowboying and our culture, or something else that I haven't covered adequately?
I'd like to add one thing, and that is my appreciation for Ralph Hauenstein establishing this institute where young people have an opportunity to do something that young people don't get a chance to do maybe anywhere else that I know of, and that is to come here and become interns and be mentored, and to see people that come through here that have credentials and have been places and done things and do have stories and can deliver these traits of leadership. And not only that, but the thing I saw as a young man growing up, and these are traits of greatness. You can be the smartest guy in the world and have all the degrees and the doctor of everything, but it takes something special to be great. And in that greatness, you transfer that back to other people. And in my opinion, Ralph Hauenstein is just, really cut the big one in that deal. I mean, this is a fantastic opportunity, and I always appreciate coming here. But I can't thank him enough for the opportunity he's given me to tell my story through his institute and through you, your guys, your staff, everybody there at GVSU. And so I guess in closing, that would be my final comment. And thank you to Ralph Hauenstein, and thank you to the Hauenstein Institute and their staff for allowing this and to see the leadership people that come out of this program. These are wonderful young people that have great futures, and it gives me the hope that our country can go forward with great leadership and pass on that torch of greatness from one generation to the next. What a great legacy that a great man has left.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's our honor and our pleasure to be able to host speakers like you who are so provocative and have such interesting stories. This is the second time you've spoken at the Hauenstein Center. First time we had you in April of 2006 to talk about your special ops mission into Laos. That was a very moving event, and then to have you this time give a veteran's perspective of what you have observed about PTSD. It's extremely valuable. In our conference last night, you're really able to give a voice of authenticity that this conference needed, and you gave all of the veterans in that room last night, in that crowd of over 200 people, you gave the veterans among them really the permission to listen to what was being said because of your own authenticity, and I really appreciate that. So my hat's off to you. Thank you very much for all you contribute and coming here and talking to us.
Well, and I'd like to just do one thing at the ending, if you don't mind. We always got to end this the cowboy way.
Yes.
If you can help me for a second. Yahoo, partner!
That's
there
great. All right. Great. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.